Okay, guys, just want to say a few quick things about the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight. First of all, some of the positives. I know people are complaining he shouldn't have been fighting, they wasted money on it. Well, first of all, Mike Tyson has the right to earn money. He made $20 million for this fight, as far as I've been led to believe. That's a lot of money, and who's going to refuse that amount of money? He's 58 years old. All he's ever done is fight, really. That's all he knows how to do. And he was the baddest man on the planet, the most entertaining, exciting fighter in history. He's allowed to make that money. People want to pay him that amount of money. Why not? Go ahead with it. He's 58 years old. He can make his own decisions. I know he's too old, but he can make his own decisions. 20 million, very tough to refuse that if someone comes and offers him that amount of money. I mean, Floyd Mayweather does it. He has a lot of fights. He's been retired for quite some time. If there's nothing set up for boxers, to help them after retirement anyway, is there? So if these boxers can make money, let them do it. They're grown men. They're fighting men. Let them do it. It's up to us to buy it. We don't have to watch it. So what's the big deal? Let him get on with it. And you also got to say, Jake Paul, regardless of what you think of him as a boxer, he's a great businessman, a great marketer. He's not bad for boxing. I believe he's good for boxing because 65 million people apparently on Netflix watched the Tyson versus Paul fight. That's a lot of eyes on boxing. That's good. We all started off as casuals, really. So a lot of these guys may watching them may be casuals, but a lot of them are going to end up becoming hardcore fans, and it's good for the sport. It's going to spread, more. It's just all around good. People are going to know more about boxing. People are going to start looking up about Tyson. Finding out about his past, his histories, how great he was as a boxer, and become fans and going to become hardcore fans as well. And we've got more fans, more people doing boxing, watching boxing, ultimately more money in boxing. So what's the bad thing? Of course, Jake Paul would say as well, 50 million people, he said, tune in to watch the Serrano versus Katie Taylor fight. Women's boxing gets a big bonus there. Paul's paying these guys a lot of money. He's getting eyes in the sport for these boxers. I would like to have seen some more bigger active boxers on the male side. That would have been great as well, but can't complain with the job they did there. They got 65 million eyes on boxing. That's hundreds of million people have been watching that. Good for boxing. I don't believe she'll go on record though. To see Tyson now be 50-7 as a pro boxer with this loss to Jake Paul is just ridiculous. Much like Mayweather getting 50th win against McGregor, against a debutant boxer, this shouldn't be allowed to go on a pro record. That's just outrageous, really. It's really unfair as well, isn't it? Mike Tyson hasn't fought as a pro for 20 years. He's come back and they put this fight on his record. They're going to see this fight losing to Jake Paul 20 years after he's last finished boxing. As far as Mike Tyson goes, power's the last thing to go from a boxer, but he lost his speed. So regardless of how much power he had, Paul would probably likely see the punch coming because it's that much slower. But even then, if Tyson land flush, I think it would have been very difficult to Paul to recover from that because he does have so much power. It's not something, and it's natural in Tyson. He has that style naturally built into him, so he can pull out those combos, those punches. The problem was, of course, at 58 years old, he might start out sharp as Tyson did, but very quickly you realise your age and the gas tank just isn't the same, and you get tired after round or two. Exactly what happened. The whole fight, Mike Tyson threw less than 100 punches in 8 rounds, so that just goes to show how much age played a part in that. He just didn't have the energy to throw punches or to fight after a couple of rounds. Also, no balance. You could see his legs when he was stepping out and bouncing. He wasn't really bouncing. He was wobbling. Unfortunately, he had a knee injury as well, sort of coming into a fight wearing a knee brace. So it wasn't ideal. And because he had no legs, he couldn't close the gap. So after he got tired, he was really a bit of a sitting duck. He was just standing there, no head movement, no footwork, can't close the gap. All he could do was hope that Jake Paul would stand in front of him and trade, which of course Jake Paul isn't going to do because he knows regardless of Tyson's age, he can still hit and he risks getting punched back from Tyson. So Jake Paul had to get on his bike and move around and box, really. And also as well, we saw Tyson was just missing the opportunity to punch because when you get older, you lose. You can't pull that trigger the way you used to. So you lose that window of opportunity because you're just too slow for it. The mind is still sharp, but the body just cannot pull that trigger. I'm 46, and this is the first year I haven't really done as much head sparring. And one of the reasons being, you know, I get in a ring with a young amateur boxer and they're too much for me, too much energy, too fast. I can't keep up with them. And you don't recover from punches the same either. The punches might not hurt, but you don't recover from them as the way you used to. So you know, Tyson, you know, you could see how much age was a factor there. You know, when you get to 58, I mean, I'm 46 and I'm feeling the effects of full sparring against guys in the gym. I'm just amateur boxers and I can't keep up with them. And might add another 12 years onto that. To, Tyson fighting someone 27, 20 years old, extremely difficult. It was a tough one, and it was tough to see Tyson sort of almost surviving towards the end. I know Jake Paul said he carried Mike Tyson. I don't really believe that. I think he's just saying that because he couldn't knock Tyson out because he was worried about getting punched by Tyson. So he played it safe, which meant a bit of a boring fight. But that's he can't. If he lost to Tyson, that would have been it all over for Jake Paul. So that's my thoughts on the fight. I'm fortunate to see Tyson struggle because of his age, but he's allowed to make that money. Boxing was a winner, really. I mean, people say boxing lost because it was a farce, it was a boring fight, but no, that's 65 million households watched the fight, hundreds of millions of people, and like I said, people are going to go back now. They're going to look at Mike Tyson's past. They become fans of the sport. Other people are going to see the women's boxing, become inspired by that as well. Some people may be inspired by Mike Tyson stepping into the ring at age 58 and fighting a 27-year-old. It's all round. It's a win for boxing, really. Regardless of what you think, Tyson's allowed to make money. Now, he's one of my favourite boxers, but has Mike Tyson ever benefited from him being my favourite boxer, second favourite boxer after Ali? No. So let him make his money. These guys are making 20 million. Why not? Why would you not do that? I think if someone came to me, I quit IT, for example, 7-8 years ago, 6 years, whatever it is, to become a boxing coach full time. If someone turned around to me today and said, you can go back into IT for 1 year contract and make $1 million, I would say yes. I wouldn't even think about it. So let him do it. What's the big deal?